right, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining our first ever virtual fundraiser for FEIH, and hopefully our last one. Hopefully we'll all be in person next year. I just want to kick this off by first saying thank you. We are already at, we set a goal to raise $250,000 tonight, and we're already at $245,000, a little more than that. So we'd really like to get past that goal, significantly past that goal. And so hopefully, thanks to all of you, we'll be able to do that. We have the silent auction going on. So hopefully you've all signed up to that app so you can start bidding on the different items. And we also, you have the ability to just make donations here, and we will be showing a thermometer at some point on the screen. Let me tell you a little bit about the Foundation for Education in Honduras, especially if this is your first time really getting to know us. About 7 years ago, Ramiro Ocasio, who you'll see, and I were in the hallway, and Ramiro had gotten back from Honduras about 6 months earlier after helping to repaint a school and fix a school up with a community in Honduras. And he came running up to me in the hallway, so excited, telling me that he got a call from the principal, and for the first time ever, there was not one kid who dropped out of school. It was literally at that moment that I said to Ramiro that Kirkland and Ellis was going to put together a foundation, and that Ramiro was going to be the president of that foundation. We would put together a board and raise money and really at the time do something good for Honduras. Our initial thought was that we were going to build schools. To talk, we didn't think that that was enough. What we wanted to do was give the kids and the communities everything that they needed. So what we do is we do build schools. We build brand new schools. They're built amazingly strong. They're used for not just schools, but they can be used for everything from whether it's when there's a natural disaster for people to be able to go, to dentistry, to anything. But we build these schools. We build brand new bathrooms. Although I did hear a story tonight that a frog jumped out of one, out of the toilet. We build brand new bathrooms, which is so critical because when you think of the girls who go to school, they need clean bathrooms, they need privacy. So that was one of the things that we focused on. We have local artisans make desks and chairs for the schools, which puts money into the local economy. We have uniforms for the kids. We have local artisans make shoes, which we have seen how important that is because a lot of the kids do not have shoes. We put in electricity, we put in filtered water so the kids have clean water to drink and clean water to wash their hands with. We put in playgrounds for the kids to play, and we put in soccer fields and basketball courts. Also, we started off, I believe it was our 8th school, where we put in, for the first time ever in Honduras, access for people with disabilities. And we do that now with every single one of our schools. It started with the Barbara Frischberg School. All of these things are so critically important, not just to the kids, but to the communities. And then what we did was we decided a number of years ago to start a soccer tournament. And we bring all of the children. We have a boys teams and girls teams from all over Honduras, from all of our schools to play soccer. It's been one of the most amazing experiences for all of us that are part of the FEIH community. But I'm here to introduce the co-founder of FEIH, Ramiro Ocasio. And for every single person who knows Ramiro Ocasio, what they know is that he has the biggest heart. He is one of the most special people you'll ever meet. And all he wants to do is help people. I'm going to tell one quick story, and it's a story really about FEIH and about Ramiro. Ramiro was down in Honduras very early on. It was before we even broke ground on our first school. And I should point out that we just finished our 15th school and broke ground on our 16th school. And one other point, and I apologize, our schools, everything that I told you that we do, costs about $45,000. That's it. It's $45,000 to do all of that, to literally change children's lives and communities' lives. And if you think about that, Ramiro and I were talking the other day, we've had over 2,000 kids go through our schools so far. And if you do the math, it's about $245 a kid right? So that's what it costs for these boys and girls to get a good education, to be in a safe place, for their parents to know that they're safe all day long, to have really a place for community gatherings. That's all it costs. And so all of the money that you're donating goes directly to that. But now back to Ramiro. So Ramiro was down, it was before we broke ground on our first school, and he went down to an orphanage. And he brought down with him backpacks and school supplies for all of the kids in the orphanage. And he also brought down letters for a pen pal program that we had started. And he was handing out the bags and handing out the letters and having the kids read them. And he got to this one little girl, Jessica, and he handed her the bag. And as he was taking out the letter, all of the other kids, he could hear them murmuring. So Ramiro got down on one knee so he could hear what Jessica had to say. And Jessica told him that she didn't know how to read. So Ramiro, without skipping a beat, read the letter for Jessica. 6 months later, then Jessica whispered in his ear and said, when you come back the next time, I'm going to learn how to read. And 6 months later, he heard from the orphanage, and he got from them a picture of Jessica's reading test where she got an 83. So she learned how to read. Now, that's because of Ramiro's good efforts going down there. But then Ramiro always takes it a step further. So Ramiro, when he got back and he heard that story and he heard about Jessica's reading test, he decided that he was going to learn how to swim because he didn't know how to swim. So he used that inspiration to do something for himself. He did that in honor of Jessica. But that's who Ramiro is. He is always giving of himself. This organization would not be here without Ramiro. And we literally, the board of directors, that is just this most amazing board here in the US and in Honduras, and all of our friends and supporters, everything we do is on the back of Ramiro. So Ramiro, I'd like to welcome you up here to say a few words about FEIH and to thank you for all you do.
Thank you, John, for your kind words. Like John said, my name is Ramiro Casio, one of the co-founders of FEIH. I will be very short because I know you guys love Zoom. Thanks to Kirkland and Ellis for hosting us to benefit FEIH. Like John said, 6 years ago, we were here asking for your help. And at the time, we didn't have a school, not even one school built, and we had our first fundraiser. And we couldn't prove to all of you guys that we knew what we were going to do. We only had dreams. But 7 years later, we're here. We have built 15 schools, 16 is about to be completed. And all of this is because we have an excellent board, we have great donors, and we have great volunteers. This past year was very challenging for Honduras. Not only the pandemic hit, but two major hurricanes hit our country that devastated all of our country, basically. And it was really tough. So I remember jumping on the phone with some board members, and one in particular was Jeannie Herfinan, who was being honored today, one of my really good friends. She gave me a lot of tips before even started doing anything regarding these people who was hurting during the pandemic. She gave me a whole bunch of lists of how should we do this, and it was effective. I'm really glad that she jumped and told us we should do this, make sure nobody gets contaminated, and a whole bunch of things that lawyers look into it before we're gonna do anything. So the board raised enough money to feed each student that goes to FEIH school and their family. This is more than 10,000 people, and we were able to feed them. But FEIH didn't stop there. FEIH didn't stop there. We continued to build our schools, and during that pandemic, we built 2 more schools. One in the Department of La Paz, and the other one in an indigenous community called Intibucá. I have a particular story about the Intibucá. Recently, I went to Honduras. I haven't been to Honduras because of the pandemic and because my mom passed away. It has been 2 years that I didn't visit. But I just flew with my friends, Ali Krakowski, Jonathan David, and Cooper Hansen. It was an amazing experience. So when we got to Intibucá, there was some miscommunication. They were waiting for us at 10 o'clock in the morning, but we got there at 4 o'clock. And when we got there, the community was extremely happy, waiting us for food, fireworks. And one of the community leaders stepped up and gave a speech and quote one of the things he said that us. We were waiting for you guys at 10 o'clock. We're not mad. We just wanted to say that we were waiting for you for 6 hours, but this 6 hours is nothing. I am 73 years old. He said something like that. In this community, we have been waiting since 1982 for a school. I didn't go to school here. My daughter didn't school here, but you guys came now. My granddaughter's going to school. So 6 hours is nothing. I really appreciate what you all have done in this community. Now this community is on the map. We are an indigenous community overlooked by governments, by community, but now we are part of the FEIH family, and we thank you for that. So that remark with that community leader meant everything to me, and I can tell you, I can reassure you that we are making a difference in these communities. Now, we are in the construction of school number 16, and I can tell you, it's incredible. We are planning to build 2 more schools for the rest of the year, and we don't want to stop there. We know that FEIH has a lot of dreams, like John Hennessy said, but we're not only doing soccer tournaments, we're not only hiring artisans, because we only hire artisans to do our shoes, our desks, our uniforms. FEIH is not only one person. FEIH is a big family. We do everything as a team. And I really want to thank everyone in FEIH in Honduras, in the United States, the board, my brother, John Hennessy, everything involved in this foundation has made me the person that I am. And I can honestly say that I am so lucky to be here, and I'm so lucky to be part of this family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramiro. Oh, Ramiro was supposed to. I'll do it for you, Ramiro, since I'm standing here. So before we move on to the next thing, we have a video that really shows you what we do. And before we put it on, just I want to say something, because unless you've been to Honduras, it's hard to put all of this in perspective. People in Honduras, and I don't say this lightly, they really don't have anything. What they have is, the one thing they do have that we all have, is they have a love for their families, they have a love for their children. But when it comes to food or clothes or an education or just a safe place to live, they do not have that. And I can't stress it enough. It's impossible to understand, living in this country, what that means. And so when we went down there, and Ramiro and others almost forced me to go down there. And I was so happy that they did that. And I've been down there more than once now, because it actually gives you such a perspective on life. And life is the key, because we are changing people's lives. And one thing I just want you to really, truly, truly understand is that for people who don't have anything, if you give them anything, it's something more than like when we get something, okay? Because if you give a kid a brand new pair of shoes that has never had shoes before and was picked on because they didn't have shoes, it changes that child's life. If you give that child an education and a safe place to go when they never had that before, that changes that person's life. So we're going to put on this video, which I hope gives you a little bit more of an understanding of what it's like down there, and what FEIH is doing, and what all of you have done by making your donations and allowing us to do this. So we'll go to the video.
We started 2020 full of joy, with many goals, and we decided to start in a big way by starting with the construction of our 13th school in El Paislal, community of Intibucá. unfortunately, that was when the pandemic alert reached our country. As we experienced the unprecedented crisis due to COVID-19 in our country, Honduras was also impacted by 2 hurricanes that devastated our country. We could not stay with our arms crossed, and thanks to the kindness of FEIH donors, we were able to help feed many Honduran families through the food pandemic project. We reached out to 13 of FEIH's affected schools and communities. Benefiting over 10,000 people, including students, their families, and other people with very limited resources. Despite everything that was happening, we continued with the construction of school number 13 and 14, which were successfully completed during the pandemic. COVID-19 and 2 hurricanes affected our country at once, leaving many deaths and destruction along the way. But amidst the chaos and anguish, we decided to take action and reach the most affected and inaccessible places. Thanks to the foundation's donors, we can say we continue and we will not stop. At the beginning of 2021, we renewed our strengths and the desire to continue building dreams. The inauguration of school number 15 in the municipality of Catacama Solancho benefiting more than 250 children and provide them with a beautiful space where they can learn, play, and develop their talents, and a place they can offer a quality education. We also broke ground on our 16th school in a charming town called Cantaranas that estimate will benefit more than 150 children. We are willing to multiply our efforts in order to allow children to receive quality education in the schools built by FEIH. But we cannot do it without you. Today you can mark the future of many children in Honduras. Make your donation.
I hope that gives you a better sense of what of FEI and what it is that we do. And Eric, who you saw this was in memory of, was a member of the FEI family whose life was cut short in a drowning accident. And you know, the entire FEI family mourns him, and you know, and do all we do in his memory as along with many other people. And I think people is what matters here. Everything, if you think about FEI, and we can talk a lot about Ramiro and how it was his heart and soul that started this organization. But there are so many people who have been so important to this organization, and that it would never have happened without them. And I want to bring up one of those people right now. My partner and friend, Jeannie Heffernan, jumped in to FEI at the beginning. She jumped in before it was FEI. She, from day one, wanted to know what was going on, wanted to give input, wanted to be part of it. Jeannie and I, with Ramiro and others, went down to Honduras for the first soccer tournament. So we got to be there to experience it. And one of the things I want to point about that soccer tournament is that when we were planning it, Ramiro got a call, and he got a call from one of the principals saying how excited they were for this, right? This was going to be amazing, because if it just put it in some perspective, we brought all of the children and all of the communities to one of the professional soccer stadiums in Honduras for them to be able to play. And they said, the principal called Ramiro and said, so excited. The boys are ready to play and the girls are ready to cheer. And so Ramiro came in and told me this, and we made the decision that we weren't going to have a soccer tournament with boys playing and girls cheering. We were going to have a soccer tournament with boys playing and girls playing. And we specifically and explicitly had the girls' championship game be the last game. And it was an amazing thing to watch in this country, which is very man-oriented, that we had an entire communities, all of the FEIH communities surrounding the soccer field, watching the girls in a shootout to end the game, and then running onto the field and lifting them up. And we did hear from another principal after that tournament, having those girls be able to play and to show that they could do what the men could do, what the boys could do, changed their lives forever. And so Jeannie Heffernan has changed the life of so many. She's changed the trajectory and helped raise up the trajectory of this organization. She is on the board. I could tell you that she is one of the best lawyers in America, which is true. I could tell you that she is an incredible partner to so many, which is true. But when I really think about Jeannie, what I think about is her heart and her focus on helping people. And I want now and give her award. Just say a few words.
Thank you for that incredible introduction. I want to thank everyone for this award and the privilege of being this year's event chair. It's great to see so many of you by Zoom, even though I know you're probably pretty zoomed out. Thank you for attending. And it's really awesome to be here in person with John, Ramiro, and the rest of our little group. It's really nice to be back together in person, and boy, we can't wait for next year's hopefully in-person event. As John mentioned, I've been involved with FEIH since before it was FEIH, when it was really a one-man show with Ramiro buying backpacks and notebooks and taking them back to Honduras over Christmas break. And as anyone who knows Ramiro can attest, his enthusiasm, his commitment, and more than anything, his generosity really knows no bounds. So it was super easy to jump in feet first to help Ramiro the hero with all of his exploits. And, you know, John really sort of undersold himself, his involvement right from the get-go, and having the foresight to see that what Ramiro was doing was really groundbreaking, and to build a 501c3 around those efforts has allowed FEIH to become what it is today. So thank you, John. Now, we've come a long way since then, having completed our 15th school, with more on the way thanks to your generosity. And I wanted to talk about, you know, my husband Alan and I have been down to Honduras a few times now for, you know, groundbreaking ceremonies, ribbon cutting ceremonies, the annual FEIH Copa, Copa FEIH, sorry, the soccer tournament. But I want to tell you about one school in particular that really made an impact on Alan and me. In June of 2019, we went down to Honduras for a groundbreaking ceremony in Monterey. It was our 11th school. And so we all piled into SUVs and were given a police escort out of El Progreso to this small town of Monterey. About a 90-minute drive down a really bumpy road. I don't think I've ever been on a road as bumpy as that one. But up until the 1980s, Monterey was really a bustling little village. There was a large banana plantation run by a US company, and a lot of the locals were employed by that company. But in the 1980s, the company pulled out. And when it left, it took with it a lot of the economic viability, really, of that small community. So when we were looking at schools, Monterey was an easy choice because the school had so deteriorated over the years that it was impossible to teach there, much less learn there. So we were really excited to go to the groundbreaking ceremony, this beautiful village with a wonderful community who was just over the moon that we were going to invest with them and invest in their children. So by August of 2019, just 3 months later, we had finished that school, and the children were in school and all was well, obviously until COVID hit. So what was already a poor and very isolated community was just absolutely devastated, as were actually a number of our schools. So the Honduran board reached out to us at the end of April 2020, telling us how dire things had really become. Now, food aid is not part of FEIH's mission. FEIH's mission is getting donations from you all, which are purposefully and solely tagged to building schools and providing supplies and support to foster education in Honduras. Our mission is not relief efforts, but so we did not touch a cent of the money that we raised through fundraising events like this. So why am I telling this story? I'm telling this story because FEIH is fully committed, 100% committed to its communities. So we will build our schools there. We will repair our schools and make sure that they're still up and running and as beautiful in year 10 as they were in year 1. But we are fully invested in those communities. So it goes beyond just education. So the US board members banded together, and within an hour, we had internally raised $32,000. We then worked with the Honduran board to come up with a plan to safely deploy food, water, masks, sanitizer to 1,700 FEIH families in 13 towns. At the beginning of May 2020, we officially launched Feeding FEIH, where we fed, as Ramiro noted, over 10,000 people in our FEIH community. But 2020 was a really tough year. As you've already just heard, Eta and Iota, which were two Category 5 hurricanes, hit Honduras just 2 weeks apart. And that affected 7 of our 13 FEIH communities. Monterey was particularly hard hit. In fact, one of the pictures you saw in the video was of Monterey. Ramiro sent us images of the entire village of Monterey encamped on a narrow strip of land for days, without electricity, without food, without clean water. Our team, both in Honduras and the United States, quickly executed rescue and relief efforts to evacuate our students and their families to shelters. Honduran authorities, including the armed forces and the Air Force, along with civilians, delivered food and supplies to our displaced communities. 3 of our FEIH schools, including the one in Monterey, were completely flooded and inaccessible. By partnering with local NGOs and a slew of good-hearted volunteers, we raised funds and collected supplies, helping more than 6,000 people in FEIH communities. Happily, we got the Monterey school repaired and up and running within 5 months. So 2020 was really a challenging year for so many, including for FEIH. We did not hold our annual gala last year in April of 2020 due to COVID. So we're really hoping that this year we can redouble our efforts in fundraising. Our goal, as John mentioned at the start of the evening, was $250,000, but at the start of the evening, we'd already raised $245,000. So I say we up the ante and let's shoot for $275,000. And maybe we'll even beat that goal. So let's aim high. FEIH is so important to these communities. No donation is too small, and certainly no donation is too large. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jeannie. So one thing we should also say, in addition to obviously being so thankful for your donations, and as Jeannie said, we would love to now get over that $275,000 mark. I do think there's a lesson that FEIH teaches, and that is that any single person can change any other single person's life for the better. And so I hope one of the things that what we do with FEIH is lets everybody know that you can make a difference in people's lives, and it's so important to do. And Ramiro taught us all that, and now we follow that. So hopefully everybody else will. So I now get to make a special introduction for our first Humanitarian of the Year award. And we're giving that award to Senator Cory Booker. And what I want to tell you first is we're not giving the award to Cory because he is a United States Senator. And we're not giving him the award because he, sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. What we're really giving him the award for is for the lessons that he teaches. And just very briefly, let me tell you what I mean. Cory Booker grew up in a nice suburb of New Jersey. He went off to Stanford University to play football. He then went to Yale Law School to become a lawyer. And Cory Booker could have done anything after getting his law degree. He could have gone to a big law firm. He could have gone to an investment bank. He could have done anything in the world he wanted to do. And what he did instead was he moved to Newark, New Jersey, not his hometown, but one of the hardest hit cities in terms of economic strife and crime. And he moved into a small little apartment. And what he did was he just started to help people. He started to work with the gang members. He started to work with tenants association members. He started to work with community organizers. And what he focused on was trying to help people. And he did. He changed Newark. He got corruption out of Newark when he became the mayor. But even before that, he literally changed people's lives and saved lives. And so as we thought about our first Humanitarian of the Year award, what we thought about was who has acted in the same way as the members of FEIH. And to us, Cory Booker is that person. And so we're going to now, Cory is not here tonight. He's in Washington, and he has his award, but he has a few remarks to make.
Hi, it's Cory Booker. I know that you all are giving me an award, but honestly, the Foundation for Education in Honduras, what you all are doing is worthy of awards and honors and celebration. I rejoice in the spirit of this organization. You all are light workers in a dark world. You all are showing that individuals can make transformative change. And when great individuals come together and inspire and ignite others, you can do transformative things. Ramiro Ocasio, thank you. Going back every Christmas and visiting a low-income village, bringing food and water, gifts, supplies, bringing hope. You have shown that we are not defined by the conditions we encounter in the world or by what happens to us. We're defined by how we ourselves act. And by you becoming an agent of hope, an agent of change, you inspired others. And my friend John Hennis, you've blown me away since we met. You are truly one of those souls who sources my soul and inspires me by your humility, by your heart, by the help you bring to others. This organization that you all have created and this tremendous, extraordinary board of directors, both in Honduras and here in the United States, you all are bringing forth the greatest force in all of humanity, and that is love, this ideal of loving your neighbor. I tell you, love of country is a great thing, but why should love stop at borders? We are one human family. And we are interrelated and interconnected in ways that we don't readily acknowledge. I am so grateful for what you all are doing, for the mission of this organization. I'm grateful that we know that sometimes bad things go viral, but this is a virtuous virus of love, and I'm grateful for that. My hope for you all is that this continues to grow and spread, that we all make an individual decision to be a part of this effort and to help it to expand. I celebrate you. I am encouraged by you. And as a guy who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee, I know that this world needs you to continue. To continue. You all are heroes of hope. I celebrate you. I thank you for acknowledging me. But for me today, I'll tell you, you've given me more than an award. You've given me tremendous inspiration. Thank you all.
Thank you. So everybody should have gotten an email with a link on it to be able to participate in the silent auction. So if you do want to go and search through your emails and sign up, there's an app to sign up to. We would love it. Obviously, we want to hit that $275,000 goal, and what a better way to get there than to actually get something that you can walk away with at the silent auction. So anything you can do, we'd really appreciate it. I want to have Ramiro come back up now. We have a few more awards to give out, and these awards are truly special awards because they go to the young people who have really helped FEI and inspire us all. So Ramiro, come on up for the first Above and Beyond Award.
Hi, everyone. So I'm honored to present the Above and Beyond Award to my friend. Let me tell you a little bit about Susie Pineda. Susie Pineda came to FEI in late 2018, 19, and she developed. Every year, she took on more and more and more. And as some of you guys know, we do have a foundation, and then in Honduras, we try to rotate who's going to be the lead person for that board of directors, so everybody can be exposed on more things and learn things and have a communication with the board of directors in the United States. Susie Pineda was one of the board members who got in contact, as Jeannie mentioned, especially with Jeannie and board of directors, to complete Fitting FEI. And after we got all the instructions from the board, especially from Jeannie, and how should we do things, Susie Pineda was at the airport because we did a collaboration with the Honduran Air Force, and she was the main person every day with a mask coordinating where the food was going to be delivered by helicopters, day in and day out. Susie Pineda was working with all of this community by cell phone, by WhatsApp, video, trying to coordinate where the food was going to be delivered throughout these two major hurricanes. Susie Pineda to me is one of my closest right now. She's now with her husband. They both are living in Cleveland. And then they've been in the United States for the last 6 months. And when I mentioned her that the board and everybody has appointed her above and beyond, she couldn't believe it. It's my honor and my pleasure to present the Above and Beyond Award this year to my dear friend, Susie Pineda. She couldn't be here today because she couldn't travel, but she sent us a video with her remarks.
Hello everyone. I want to let you all know that when Ramiro reached out to me and gave me the news that I had been chosen for this year Above and Beyond Award, I obviously cried, but seriously felt completely honored and humbled by it. This award represents all effort that was made during one of the most challenging years that I would think Hondurans have experienced. Going through massive loss of jobs because of the pandemic, closing schools, and going through 2 hurricanes all in 1 year. But it was also the year in which I regained my hope in humanity. And this was because of FEI. Because FEI has the power to bring the most amazing people together and inspire other people to be better, including myself. This is why I share this award with the amazing people that came together to also go above and beyond during these difficult times. Kristen Ramirez, Marisa Flores, Tesla Melage, Aldo Micheletti, Jeffrey Flores, Eric Sosa, who may rest in peace, and all FEIH volunteers and members in Honduras who joined efforts not only for our FEIH students and families, but their entire communities as well. And last but not least, I'd like to thank and express my great admiration for my friend and brother, Ramiro, as well to the board of directors who didn't hesitate to support and trust our abilities to carry out all the initiatives made to help and aid our people. I'm forever grateful, blessed, and honored to be part of this wonderful family. Thank you.
So another amazing thing about FEIH, if you think about the remarks you just heard, and if you think about Jeannie's remarks, that these hurricanes hit and devastated the country and devastated communities. And I will be completely candid. I have no idea how our Honduran board got the Honduran Navy to get involved and help our communities. But that's what happens with FEIH. We basically just say we want to do something here, and it happens down there. And it's through the efforts of our amazing board down in Honduras and our amazing board up here, and because of all of you. I did make one mistake before. You don't have to check your emails. If you check the chat box in the Zoom, you can click the link for the auction. And so again, we'd love for you to do that. And we want to raise money to continue to do all of the amazing work that we're doing. I now have the honor to give out an award, and I jumped the gun on the youth, obviously, so I apologize for that. But I get the honor of giving out an award, and I want you to think about something for a second. You know, either put yourself back to the time when you were 7 years old, or think about your kids at 7 years old and their birthday, right? What are they so excited to do, right? It's their birthday. They're going to get their cake and they're going to open their gifts, and they're so excited about it. Well, Clara Davis, who's 8 years old and just finished the second grade, for her 7th birthday, she asked her parents that instead of getting gifts, could she ask for donations for FEIH? And I just think about that for a 7-year-old at the time to do that, to think about other people, to think about where that money that she could raise rather than getting gifts can help other kids her age so much. I just think that that's something that it sticks with me, and I hope it sticks with you, and I hope it inspires you like it inspires all of us here at FEIH. Clara couldn't be here tonight either, but we have a video from her with some remarks. So let's turn to the video.
Hello, my name is Claire Davis, and I'm honored to receive this Youth Ambassador Award. I love FEIH because it has such a big purpose. The reason I donated to FEIH is because each time I didn't all of my food on my plate, my mom always told me, think of all the people around the world who can't have this meal that you can. And so on my birthday, I thought, do I deserve these 20 presents every year, or should I give it to someone who would need it more? And FEIH gives kids playgrounds, schools, shoes, and clothes to wear. Thank you. I hope you donate to FEIH too.
All right, if you're not going to be be willing to make a donation after seeing Clara, I don't know what you would do. I mean, to say that she's adorable and a leader at the same time is an understatement. So the silent auction, while it is live, it will close at 9 o'clock tonight. So you'll have time even after this is over. Ramiro, I want to bring you up for the next award.
So I'm really happy and honored to, as all of this recognitions that we're giving today to all the special people, to give this special recognition award to a company just has been created, I don't know, in the last year and a half. It's called The Scribes. I'm going to tell a little bit about how I met the founders of Scribes. John Hennis had an event for the restructuring group, and he invited me to come and give remarks about something that we do here at Kirkland and Ellis. And I met Margaret Rini. Margaret is one of the associates in the restructuring group, and we met, and after we talked, she said to me, Romero, you should meet my brother. He's awesome. You're gonna like him. He just created a company called The Scribes. They make journals. And he is all about giving. He started this company, but he are giving more than what he sells. Like, I'm like, okay, I wanna meet this guy. So we exchanged numbers, emails, and the president of the junior committee, Jordan Elkin, myself, and Mike Greeny, we met for coffee. And right off the back, we started talking about how excited I was that he started this company during the pandemic, how brave he was, and he was so excited. And after he heard what we do in FEIH, then he started talking how many students. We said to him, how many students go to FEIH school? And I said to him, it's about 2,500 students currently enrolled in all of the FEIH schools. And he said to me, Romero, I think it's amazing what FEIH is doing. Let me talk to the team, but I think we can donate 3,000 journals. And I was like, wow. I'm like, this is very generous. Don't you think you have to talk to your team and say, no, they'll be okay with this? And yes, months later, they created journals titled with our names in the journals. Like, this is the first time I see a journal with the FEIH name. So I was so excited to see this. And they did donate 3,000, and they send them to Honduras, which is very difficult to send stuff in Honduras, and they pay for the shipping too. And not only they donated the journals, and they made it specifically for FEIH, but one of the members went to Honduras and donated himself. Like, he did everything. And this is go to show this young folks, I'm bad with names, but I think is Mike, Pooja, and Adam. It's three of them who started this company. And then it gives me hope that I can still have my own company, because they started this company during that pandemic and they thriving. And he went to Honduras and donated journals himself to the student. And it's something that we are really grateful in FEIH. And I just don't want to say nothing else. I want Mike to come over, and we want to give his recognition to Mike. We would like to pull you to come up too, please. Then you can give this. You can give this to Ellen. He couldn't be with us.
Hey everyone. So I'm going to retell that story a little bit differently, but Ramiro caught most of the points. My name is Mike Rainey. I'm so excited to be celebrating with you guys tonight, to celebrate FEIH. It's just an incredible foundation. I've been involved with the foundation for a little over a year now, and it's really been a pleasure and like one of my more kind of fulfilling moments of my life to be a part of this. As Ramiro mentioned, kind of how we met each other. My first interaction with FEIH was in January of last year, so pre-pandemic. My sister, who's an associate here, Margaret, I think she's watching here tonight with my mom, but she told me about this guy who worked for Kirkland. She said he's the most popular guy at Kirkland. He must be a partner. he's always talking to people. He's always introducing himself to others. He's joking with colleagues throughout the office. This guy was Ramiro, of course. And within a few minutes of meeting Margaret, Ramiro had told her about the story of Faye and his going back to Honduras. And she had told him about the story of the scribes and how we got started. A few weeks later, I don't know if we had even incorporated our business at this point. We were up here in the Kirkland office meeting with Ramiro and Jordan Elkin and Chris Torrente to discuss how we could get involved with the foundation and do some good. And following that meeting, we can fast forward about a year at this point. I truly call Ramiro a great friend. And I'm even more excited about the impact that we've been able to make in Honduras. I will say that compared to so many others, Jeannie and John and everybody else here, we are probably undeserving of this award. I know so much time and effort and money has been put into these schools and just all the thought that goes into it. But I visited Honduras for the first time in June, and I can say that your money and your time is well spent because it is truly amazing what you guys have created down there. Like I said, I think donating journals is a very small contribution to the grand scheme of things. But I will say on behalf of Pooja and Alden and our newest intern over there, Portia, we're so happy to be here and honored for the award. A few quick thank yous. Want to thank our corporate buyers and partners like Kirkland, and I believe Prime Clerk is sponsoring the event tonight as well. I mean, it would have been impossible. We started the business last year. It would have been impossible to make this kind of impact without the support of these corporate buyers who had no reason to trust us, but did. To my team, specifically Pooja and Alden, who have put so much effort into this, from designing the journals to producing the journals to 3,000 journals being shipped to Pooja's parents' house in New Jersey, because we're in pandemic times here. We had to figure out how to ship that to Honduras. It was truly a team effort. So thank you guys. Like I said, thank you, John. Thank you, Allie Krukowski, Jordan Elkin, my sister Margaret too, because she kind of forced us and allowed us to get involved in such a great cause. And then lastly, I'd like to thank Ramiro for all you've done for us. You're our biggest cheerleader. You're gonna cheer us on when you're in Austin. But it seriously, it means so much. But thank you for making all of this happen, because I can say that my trip to Honduras last month was truly life-changing. You just have to be there to see it. So if it changed my life in 48 hours, the construction of 16 schools has made an immeasurable impact. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mike. It's very nice. Last but not least, we at FEIH want to give the Youth Ambassador Award to someone who I met years ago. I don't have time to tell you how I met Felicia Greenfield. She's one of my closest friends, but we became family. And during that family, I met her husband and her two daughters, Danny and Morgan. Danny and Morgan to me are like my little nieces, because Felicia Greenfield is like my younger sister too. I love Felicia. And after meeting Felicia and she can be part of the board, Felicia flew to Honduras with us. She has been to Honduras so many times, and she brought her older daughter, Danny. And after seeing that, I don't think Morgan, who is a true leader, didn't want to stay behind, and said to her mom that she wanted to go to Honduras too. And she came. And Morgan is one of those girls that when you first meet her, is a true leader. Like she, even before she went to Honduras, she took on learning Spanish classes because she wanted it to communicate with the students. And it was so amazing to see this, how in such a short period of time, she was having communication with the other students. She went, she's the only person with her mom, FA, who has traveled to Honduras without me. Like they went to Honduras a day before, and she went with her mom and gave I think reading classes in English is one of the school. I am so honored to introduce Morgan Greenfield to the Youth Ambassador. Where Morgan, you are nothing but a true hero to me. You have changed my life. I wish I was this smart when I was your age. But then again, you know, it's a fact, women are always smarter than men, so it's no surprise. Let me introduce Morgan Greenfield with the Youth Ambassador Award. Take it on, buddy.
Thank you. 3 years ago, my sister Danielle was awarded FEIH's first Youth Ambassador Award. Since then, I've been lucky enough to travel to Honduras twice. The first trip was to help open FEIH's Escuela Especial Barbara Fishburg in October 2018, which was the first FEIH school built to accommodate differently abled kids. It was also a trip to remember because we were joined by the real-life Barbara Fishburg. My second working trip was for the third Copa de FEIH football tournament in June 2019, where 320 students from 10 FEIH schools competed at a professional stadium. It was a 12-hour day that went up to 115 degrees, but I still loved it. On this second trip to Honduras, we started with something a little different. My mom and I went down to El Progreso a day before the others. Honduran FEIH team members Jeffrey, his son Little Jeffrey, and Marissa picked us up from the airport and brought us to FEIH's third school, Adrian Mejia. We taught a series of English lessons to small groups of students. After the lessons, all of the kids went outside for recess. I remember playing with them and trying to communicate with them despite me not speaking Spanish and the kids not speaking English. Because my sister had traveled to Honduras a few times before I ever did, I had an idea of what to expect when I arrived, but I was still really shocked. Not only did it make me appreciate how lucky I am, but actually seeing how the kids are just kids like me, but lacking so much, it just made me want to help them even more. I know there's an ongoing issue at the US-Mexico border, and that many of those who make the long, dangerous journeys to the border are Honduran. Some are just kids whose parents sent them just for a chance at a future. Before I traveled to Honduras, I couldn't understand how parents could just send their kids away alone, but now I do. Many kids in Honduras just don't even have a chance. Without education and without skills, they won't have many or any options for supporting their family or even themselves. Many are forced to turn to drug trafficking and other crimes. Many join gangs even though they don't want to. FEIH is giving thousands of kids, thousands of families an actual chance by providing fundamental learning environments. They provide school supplies, uniforms, running water, so kids can actually wash their hands and have flush toilets. So I wasn't surprised to see FEIH putting together an emergency food and PPE distribution operation at the beginning of COVID and after 2 devastating hurricanes. I understand that I have been given every break and that I have a great shot at an even greater future. Volunteering with FEIH, I can help give other kids their desperately needed break. It is an honor to have this opportunity. Gracias, FEIH.
Thank you, Morgan. And I'm voting for Morgan. All right, so we're coming to the end now. But I do want to pick up on something that Morgan talked about, because we have, there's a million amazing stories with FEIH. So let me just tell one as we get to the close. So when we were building, I believe it was our 8th school, there was a man, a husband, a father named Carlos. Carlos and his wife and his son and his daughter lived in, you probably could call it a hut, you know, mud floors, no indoor plumbing, no electricity, and he had no job, he had no money. And so what he started to do was to say, how can I help my family? Because I don't have anything here in Honduras. And so he started to work with the coyotes, the people to take him and his daughter from. He was going to leave his wife and son behind. He wanted to make sure that his daughter could try to have some chance. And he was hopeful that if he could get up to the border, he could get into America and get that chance. And just to put that in a little bit of perspective, to go and actually pay a coyote to take you, especially when you don't have a job, it means you start to sell everything that you own. It means that you try to borrow from anyone who might have any money to do it. And then you're going to take an arduous, dangerous trip from Honduras to the US. So why would you do that? You would do that if you don't have anything and if you don't have hope and if all you want is a better life for your children. So Carlos was planning that, and we were building our 8th school. And every morning, Carlos went to the school and volunteered his time. And one of the things we've done at FEIH is we've put together a construction crew. We have our contractor, and we have a crew of about 20 people. And this construction crew goes from site to build, and the communities take them in and have them stay with them while they're building the schools, which take about 2.5 months. So Carlos started to volunteer his time, and our contractor saw this husband and this father every day, every morning, coming in and then working. And so he finally went up to Carlos and said, "Would you like a job?" And not just a one-time job, but a job that is going to be continuous, where you're going to be going and helping us build these schools. And so Carlos said yes to that. And as Carlos continued to work, the construction crew heard his story. They saw where he lived, and one thing that I didn't point out was their bathroom. Carlos's family's bathroom was a toilet outside with no plumbing, with a shower curtain hanging from trees over it to give some privacy when they were going to need to use it. And so when the construction crew heard this story, they told Carlos that when they finished building the school, they were going to go and use their own money to get the supplies that were needed to build him a brand new house. And so they did. They built him a brand new house with indoor plumbing, with electricity. And so Carlos didn't leave. He didn't leave Honduras. He didn't leave his home country. He didn't leave the country where he was born and where his family lives. He stayed. And that was because of FEIH building the school and giving his children a chance, but it was also because of the workers who saw somebody who needed help and decided that they too were going to act in a charitable way and do something for someone else. So again, that's what FEIH is all about. Please, again, I know I'm a broken record, but go to the auction and let's get over that 275,000. And before I close, I just want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, Prime Clerk, Scribes, Paul Weiss, Alex Partners, BNY Mellon, O'Dwyer and Bernstein. I want to give an incredibly special thanks to Kirkland and Ellis. Kirkland and Ellis, and not just the partners at Kirkland and Ellis, although we do give great thanks to the partners and the associates, but the support staff at Kirkland and Ellis has been with FEIH from day one. And I cannot tell you how thankful we are for the generosity of the support staff, because we actually would not be here today without that. And I know, Ramiro, you 100% agree with that. And so thank you all for joining us tonight. Next year, we'll be in person. I promise you it'll be fun. We'll have Honduran beer, Honduran food, and we'll all be together. Thank you. Do not hesitate to reach out to us, and have a wonderful night.